Hello, everybody. My name is Naomi Corral, and today I will be presenting how genetics and lack of participation in clinical trials among Hispanic Americans may negatively affect liver cancer rates. So, liver cancer incidence among Hispanic Americans is very high. According to the American Cancer Society, Hispanics have double liver cancer incidence compared to non Hispanic whites, and two-thirds of these cases are men. Hispanic Americans are more propense to develop cancers caused by viruses compared to cancers not caused by viruses. Liver cancer is one of those in which Hispanic Americans have some of the highest numbers. This brings the question of why this particular group is being so affected by this disease and how can we build a foundation to lower the incidence rates. That is why the purpose of this review of a scientific literature is to facilitate the development of a liver cancer education program. The databases used to conclude this literature review included PubMed, EBSCO, Google Scholar, and articles had to be published between the years 2000 and 2020 and had to be written in English or Spanish and had to be accessible in full text. Some of the keywords used included Hispanics, Latinos, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, substance abuse, tobacco, healthcare access, genetics, and diet. The results from this literature review was that hepatitis B virus and hepatitis C virus increase the chance of developing liver cancer, and Hispanic Americans are more propense of developing hepatitis. Even though both of these diseases are a threat, hepatitis C is the one that contributes the most in the development of liver cancer. Hepatitis B can be prevented with a vaccine, while hepatitis C cannot, and there are treatments available for both. However, these are not as efficient among Hispanic Americans. And treatment for hepatitis can be very expensive, and insurance will only cover for hepatitis B preventive vaccine if there are pre-existing conditions that may put them in medium to high risk. One of those pre-existing conditions includes diabetes, and while diabetes affects many Hispanic Americans, it is not diagnosed in some cases. Insurance may be covering the treatments, but the insurance premiums could increase, or the insurance may even be denied. One possibility for this disparity may be attributed to genetics. The variation in the PNPLA3 gene increases the production and it decreases the breakdown of fats in the liver. This variation has been associated with non-alcoholic liver diseases, and it is currently being studied on the effect it has in Hispanic Americans. The variation in this gene would be able to explain the high incidence and low treatment effectiveness of hepatitis among this group. It is also important to know that this may worsen the possibility if it's accompanied by a diet rich in carbohydrates. So having a diverse group in clinical trials is extremely important so people from different groups can be represented. In this case, Hispanic American representation in hepatitis clinical trials might be beneficial since there is a genetic disadvantage that may prevent the treatment from working. However, their representation in clinical trials is significantly low compared to non-Hispanic whites. These may be attributed to fear of discrimination and fear of deportation and language barriers. The high incidence of liver cancer was found to be due to an increase of liver disease risk factors that may be more prominent among Hispanic Americans due to a variation in the PNPLA3 gene. And representation in clinical trials must be increased in order to be able to provide better hepatitis B and C treatment options that may deal with this genetic disparity. On the other hand, illegal immigration may place a barrier to fully understand the effects of liver cancer among Hispanic Americans. So, in conclusion, in order to create a program to educate Hispanic Americans of this disparity, it is important to take genetics into account. Education on hepatitis B prevention and hepatitis B and C treatment options and payments is imperative when creating such a program. Also, in order to broaden the scientific knowledge of treatment efficiency among this group, it is crucial to have more Hispanic Americans. Educating this group about clinical trials may decrease the fears of deportation and discrimination. And finally, it is very important to have this information also delivered clearly in Spanish. Thank you so much for your time, and I am here for any questions that you may have.